There have been a handful of different decisions from Nintendo in the Switch 2 generation so far that I have not personally been a fan of. I don't like $80 games. I don't like game key cards, but overall, I've been having a lot of fun in this console generation. However, there are certain issues and certain decisions that this company makes that there is just quite literally no other word for other than them just being dumb. And I want to explain this and unpack it today because recently you might have seen some videos from fellow content creators on the platform start to circulate in regards to this recent Close to You trailer that Nintendo mysteriously uploaded one day. It literally looks like a Pixar short film for toddlers, but there was some clear references to Pikmin, and as people not only noticed certain soundtrack elements of Pikmin, but also some freeze frame stuff going on where you could see a red little Pikmin kind of in the shadows in one certain frame in the video, it quickly became apparent online this was probably tied to Nintendo promoting some kind of Pikmin original animated short. Maybe it was a teaser for the movie. It's probably tied into that. Dynamo Pictures that they acquired, and Nintendo Pictures is actually who's responsible for this. Well, we now have confirmation that that's the case, but you probably maybe never saw the follow-up trailer that Nintendo uploaded to that, unless if you saw a content creator cover it, and then you might have noticed that the video you watched of that went away, because Nintendo is back to doing something that they really haven't done and enforced since the Wii U generation, and it's one of the stupidest rules out there in terms of if you want your stuff to have eyeballs on it, let people talk about it freely, but it has to do with them striking or copyright claiming rather content, but actually pulling it offline, not just not monetizing it, but legitimately not allowing you to show it. Meaning if you feature content that they deem copyright protected by them, they have the ability to not let your video be shared. It's blocked in all countries. Nobody can actually see the content anymore once they file that claim. And Nintendo has been doing that again in 2025 with content that is exclusive to their Nintendo Today app. And what's interesting is while that initial Close to You trailer went out on all social media platforms and YouTube specifically, the follow-up that showed it was Pikmin and showed all of the invisible things moving around on screen was actually Pikmin pushing around those objects. That one you have to go to the Nintendo Today app to watch. And they actually posted this. We hope you enjoyed 2 Close to You videos released on October 7th and 8th. The second video is available on the Nintendo Today, a free app available on your smart device. These are the first short films created by Nintendo Pictures Co. Ltd. Nintendo Pictures will continue to explore new creative possibilities through video content. So we know that a literal company that Nintendo acquired, brought in-house, and has them working on animated short original content for them. And they want to have obviously eyeballs on this content. They want to generate revenue off of it. They want to maybe expose people who wouldn't be too familiar with the Pikmin franchise to these type of short films to get them shared around and discussed online so that you have maybe a broader audience that is now more interested in Pikmin than they were previously. Maybe it even promotes something like the mobile game that they have available in Pikmin Bloom. But no, Nintendo is locking down the actual trailer behind their own app, and they're choosing not to put it out on any other social media, and they have all of their content ID tracking systems online looking for this stuff so that you will actually get copyright claimed if you have the video showing the Pikmin in frame. This is a big problem, and it's really something that Nintendo has not enforced since the Wii U era, and we don't need to be taking steps backwards here. Now, I get the idea and thought process behind it from Nintendo. They are trying to drive people to their free app. Now, the app is fine to have as an additional source of news, and in fact, once upon a time, it was very easy to screenshot information in the app, and it actually was something that you could just screen record, and that's what people would do. They would screenshot, they would screen record, and they would share that news on other social media platforms because people are already established on these other social media platforms. And your most hardcore Nintendo fans, like myself, probably have the app installed and you might check it from time to time, but the general audience and the masses and where all the actual eyeballs are at do not know what Nintendo Today is, and they don't have it installed on their phones. And while there might be a very small percentage of people who will say, oh, well, this is exclusive to Nintendo Today, I better download that and watch the video exclusively through that smartphone app, the majority are just not going to mess with it, and you are going to get people doing ways around screen capturing and stuff, because when they essentially blocked the ability to take screenshots, videos, and all of that stuff, and people still have ways to do it because, you know, technology is technology, and you could probably pull up the app on like a PC with the application that lets you run Android apps and stuff like that in the background, and you can just do a screen recording on your PC. I'm pretty sure that that would work just fine, but then you have to worry about if you actually do go share that content, Nintendo is now copyright claiming all the stuff that's out there on the internet, and that is just unnecessary legwork and unnecessary parameters to have around content that you are paying people to create, because Nintendo is legitimately spending money to have Nintendo Pictures create this original animated short, but then you're going to lock it down to a smart device, which, mind you, you might want to watch that easily on your TV and on a large display with your kids and family maybe, and you don't actually have the option to do that super easily from your phone. I would imagine you can cast your image from the Nintendo Today app. It's probably not built in, but obviously smartphones can do that to smart TVs. But you get the idea. Like, if you have the YouTube app on your TV and that's how you normally watch this type of content on your TV, you should be able to go to Nintendo's channel, see that same trailer, or see any content creators talking about it and not have an issue with being able to watch it. Also, shout out to Andre over at Game Explain, because he actually did a pretty nice video about this not that long back, discussing the fact that Nintendo Today, from a download perspective, is essentially already dead in the water. If you look at when it initially launched, it was a huge influx of brand new users, the core Nintendo fan base. But if you look at the daily downloads since then, it's essentially nobody new going to this app. So while Nintendo might want to use some of this exclusive content on the app and only let you see the content on the app, you are actually just cutting off the mass majority of everybody who would ever maybe see this content or come across it naturally as you do online in the modern day. You might be scrolling on Facebook and see somebody talking about it. You might be scrolling on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You get the idea. That is how content actually spreads and gets eyeballs on it now, not some proprietary app that you have to go download and hop into that only the most core of core Nintendo fans are going to get into. Yes, it's a free app, but Nintendo is trying to drive traffic to this at the detriment of free channels and fans of Nintendo out there just trying to naturally share their opinions on this stuff, which will in turn get way more people aware of it. So it's a dumb decision all around. It is something that I think it's just going to be tied to anything that's exclusive to Nintendo Today, because we have seen other stuff that in games that they're promoting leading up to their launch and stuff, screenshots of the Nintendo Today app were getting copyright taken down as well. In fact, I mentioned it in my Close to You video when I was discussing the Pikmin being there. Like, I shared barely a snippet. I was fortunate enough, maybe not past me talking about it in this video, but so far I have not been copyright claimed on my own personal video. But I mentioned that claims were going around for stuff like that from the Nintendo Today app, because I'd seen it happen to other creators since this app was out. And this is a tipping point. Nintendo could go more aggressive with this app and do more of this stuff and release their trailers on it first, have a time delay before you can see it anywhere else, and then they're taking down videos of anybody who talked about it early, and or they could kind of learn from this that, hey, there's not enough users here, there's not enough eyeballs here, and we should have this as a channel for us to directly communicate with fans, but not enforce it as the only way you can see this content. And in turn, if people are going to want to talk about this stuff on whatever platform they are on online, let's just open the gates and allow them to do that. Let's not go back to the Wii U days and these stupid policies. Let's not create another Nintendo content partner program or whatever they were doing when they were trying to do like revenue share with people instead of content claiming them, but you had to share some of your revenue with Nintendo. Like, these were the mindsets that existed in Nintendo that were in force all the way through the 2010s into until about 2018, I think, is when that Nintendo content creators program thing ended. I mean, they have been doing this in too recent of memory, but to be tiptoeing back into that direction with the Today app is a scary thing to see. So here's hoping this is just for one-off stuff and not for their bigger, broader announcements. If they ever start locking down Nintendo Directs to the Nintendo Today app or something, it would be the biggest misstep of all time. And I think that they know that they won't get the kind of viewership that they would with something like their other social media accounts that they have, especially their following on YouTube. But regardless, just calling it what it is, Nintendo's being dumb with this one, and hopefully they see the data and the numbers they need to potentially see to start steering them back in the right direction from here. But Let me know in the comments down below what you make of this one. Do you think it's a non-issue for most things? Do you think it's maybe the signs that Nintendo's starting to get a little bit back to their old ways with content, with locking it down on where it's available and how you see it and how they can essentially control the messaging around it? And out of curiosity, do you personally have the Nintendo Today app on your phone today? And do you check it regularly? Is it kind of an afterthought? You hop into it after you see people talking about it online? Did you actually go back and watch the Pikmin visible trailer version of Close to You, or were you just seeing other content creators talk about it online? So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn your notification bell. And with that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.